It's recording. Yay. Oh, and then just in time for Ricky to hop on. So we're just now getting started, Ricky. I just started the recording. I'm so excited for this because I feel like I have been preaching about group chats so long and so much that it's like, it makes me blue in the face. Like I feel like I've repeated myself so many times that like I don't even know if people are listening anymore. But I also feel like it's important. It's almost like, how many times does somebody have to see the Thrive experience before they actually order? That's where I feel like we're at with group chats. Like how many times do I have to say, do a group chat until you actually do a group chat? Like that's exactly how I feel it is. So I decided that doing a training with somebody who is really awesome at it is going to be maybe better than coming from me. And it's kind of funny because this is how group chats work, right? I can tell you the same thing over and over and over, and you're just like, yeah, whatever, she's talking about group chats again. But Kristen's gonna come in here and she's gonna tell you how she does it, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I never thought of doing that before. Even though I've said it a million times. That's exactly how group chats work, guys. We do them because your friends aren't listening to you. They're just kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever, yeah, that's fine, whatever. And they're not actually listening to you. But when you have a stranger in their inbox, then they're listening. They want to know what this strange person actually has to say. So it's amazing how that works, and that's how we're going to work with this Zoom and how this is going to hopefully work for you guys. Hopefully you'll get some different inspiration, some different like aspects of how you can use group chats, because they're so important and they're so critical to doing this business. If you're not doing group chats, once you do, I can promise you your business will grow. So I don't want this to go too long because I know that after 40 minutes is going to cut us off. So I could keep preaching to you, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to introduce you to my friend Kristen. I want you to know the reason why I chose her to do this with us is because she puts me and Tammy in group chats all the time. She'll message us and say, hey, I've got so-and-so. They're experiencing this, or they have questions about this, and then when we're ready, we tell her, let's go, and she just does it. It is flawless every single time. She gets her people to talk with us. She's going to tell you how she does it all. So I'm done talking about it. Kristen, I'm going to have you unmute yourself, and then before I even start asking you questions, I do want you to go over how skeptical you were about group chats and why. So go for it, girl.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Kristen, and I want to know, do group chats freak you out as much as they freaked me out in the beginning? Because I know Sam did a little live this morning or this afternoon, whatever, kind of telling you how I felt and how I told her that I felt. So I started, 4 or 5 months ago, back in April, however long that was. And so when I first started, she was just kind of giving me the rundown and telling me that she wants me to add whoever I'm talking to in a group chat. And so I told her, okay, like, that's fine. But what I didn't tell her was that kind of freaked me out a little bit. I thought that she thought that because I was new, that I might not know enough about Thrive to explain it to people in a way that made sense, or that I was going to give them like the wrong information, or I wasn't going to explain things right. And so what I know now is that my mindset was like completely in the wrong place. I thought she was just there to babysit me and make sure that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. So I had no idea that she actually asks everyone to do group chats, even if you've been doing this for years. So it wasn't just me, it's everybody, and it's not, I don't know what the right word is, not to like make you feel bad that you can't do it on your own. Like she is always saying like, we're a team and we're here to help each other out. And so I appreciate her help. And I use her and Tammy the most in my group chats for different reasons, which I'll explain in a little bit. And also that I felt a little like scared, I guess, talking to my customers on my own at the same time, because I didn't want them to know that I might not know everything there is to know about this product. There was stuff that I didn't didn't know, and I thought that they would like be like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about, so whatever, I'm out of here. But they actually really appreciate when you tell them, I don't know the answer to that question, let me ask somebody else and get back to you. My dog's gonna bark. Dave is gonna run intervention here. Get him down. Crazy dog. And so they're actually really thankful that you are upfront and honest with them and let them know, I don't know the answer to that question. Let me make sure that I get the correct information for you in a group chat.
Yay. Thank you. Okay. So you guys, that is so important because when you're just vulnerable with people and you just tell them, hey, I don't know the answer, it makes them so grateful that you got the answer. There's nothing more time consuming than being like, hold on, I'm going to go find out this answer, and then going to find the answer and then copy and pasting the answer to your person when you could just have that person talk for you. And then I'm sure you learned a lot by just listening to me and Tammy talk to your person. Like when you are in the middle, you're the middle person, like connecting the leader and your customer, you also learn a lot. That's how you learn everything about Thrive, is by listening to us speak with your customer. And then that's how you learn. So number one, before I even ask you the first question, guys, please blow up the chat. Like if you have a question or a comment, or if there's something that you learned that you never thought of before, or if you want to say that's a great idea or whatever, this is Kristen's first training. So let's show her some love, make her feel like this isn't like a live on Facebook where you can like comment as it goes, you know? So it's really weird when you feel like you're talking to yourself. So please, by all means, if you have a question or a comment, use the chat. We like the chat. This is for you guys. So the first question is, when do you do a group chat?
Right. Okay. So I try to do a group chat with every single customer and every single person that says that they're interested in thriving, with an exception that I'll talk about in just a minute. But even if you know all of the answers to all of their questions and everything, I think that it's really beneficial to create a group chat, because they might like hearing other people's experience is different. So you can tell them your story and what you've experienced and why you started Thrive and all this good stuff. But they might not relate to some of that stuff. So maybe they are, you know, a mom and maybe you're not a mom. So your story may not resonate with them. So when you're adding somebody else into a group chat that might have a similar story or a similar like problem or something like that, they can just, you know, relate on a different level. So I said that there might be an exception to when I wouldn't do a group chat, and I really only have one experience with that, and it's actually a girl that I'm working with right now. I work with her at the school, and she's just a very private person, and I like kind of nonchalantly message a group chat to her, and she kind of like, I saw her shut down. So I don't want to overwhelm anybody. So that is the only instance that I wouldn't like suggest a group chat. But everyone else I put in a group chat. What was I going to say? What you don't want to do is create group chats just for the sake of creating a group chat. So I know right now with the retreat coming up and everything, people may be wanting to like up their amount of group chats so they can get those points, but it's really important to create group chats for the right reason. You know, whether it be explaining what the 3 steps are, explaining more about Thrive, or for a particular problem that they're experiencing, like troubleshooting or something. But you don't want to like get them in the group chat to talk about, I don't know, something like non-related or something that you could answer yourself. I don't know how to word it. Do you know what I mean though? You know, you want it to be relevant, and you want it to be something that would be helpful to have another person's perspective in there also, if that makes sense. I don't know what else was I going to say. I have like all these notes.
That's okay. I'm going to ask you each question one at a time, so you don't have to try and like run it all together. But essentially, like, when I ask you when do you do a group chat, do you do it like before they've asked a question, or do you wait until they ask you something that you need help with and then you say, you know what, I'm just going to put you in a group chat? Like when are you like, okay, now's the time for a group chat? How do you know it's time to put them in a group?
Okay, so when they first like start telling me that they're interested in thriving, I stick to the one-on-one right off the bat and just kind of give them my own personal experience first. So just that they can feel like it's an intimate conversation just between the two of us because we know each other. And then once the conversation gets a little bit deeper and they start asking questions about like ingredients or a problem that they're having, or like talking about their goals and what they want to achieve with Thrive, then I will put them into a group chat.
Awesome. Okay. Because I know some people are like, well, I don't know when. I'm already talking to them by myself. Why should I add? So that's when you do it. My next question, when do you speak in the chat? And when do you speak on your own aside from the group? So sometimes I know it gets confusing for people. Okay, I've created this group chat. Now I'm never going to talk to them one-on-one again. Or is it always going to be in the group chat? Like, how do you know what to do in a group chat, and how do you know what's appropriate to keep separate? And kind of like also like why would you keep them separate, and why would you put things in the group chat? Like, how do you know when to use the group chat and when to use the private chat?
Right. So again, like I said, like when I first start out talking to them, it's a one-on-one conversation. You get all like the initial conversation, then add them to the group chat. And then when I want to go back to talking to them one-on-one, it would be something like, when I do my follow-ups, when I ask them, hey, it's Tuesday, how are you feeling? How did this week go for you? How are you sleeping? I keep that stuff in a one-on-one chat unless they have specific questions, and then I would pull them back into a group chat. So it just really depends on the conversation. But, if it's stuff like, hey, your auto ship is coming up. How are you feeling? That I can just talk to them one-on-one. I will definitely do that and just keep those group chats specifically for like the more in-depth questions.
Yes, awesome. And that way too, whoever is the leader helping you doesn't have to get all the dings from a conversation where you're answering questions that you could answer.
Right. Super overwhelming.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I'm glad I went over like your little notes before we started, because I want to make sure we're on the same page here. Do you give your guest a heads up before the chat? The guest meaning the leader. So if you have somebody who has a specific issue, I'm totally calling on Lacey right now. She has PCOS. So if you had a customer who had the same thing, would you go and tell Lacey, hey, I have a person with PCOS, and do you give her like a heads up and wait until she's available, or do you just do it? Like, how do you know? Do you give the person a heads up, or do you just create it? And what kind of information do you give your leader before starting the chat to begin with?
Right. Okay. So yeah, I definitely misunderstood that when you send me like the list of what to talk about. But I think actually both parts of that conversation are super important. But so to answer your question, yes, I absolutely will message you or Tammy or whoever it is that I would like to put into a group chat. I will message them beforehand and say, hey, I have my girl Jackie, she's not doing so good. She told me that she's having problems with whatever the case may be, and kind of give you just like a rundown of what's going on, how long they've been thriving for, how much they kind of know about the product. Are they brand new, or have they been thriving for 4 months? Just kind of like and I like to do it in a voice chat because it's just simple. And let the person know like what's going on and say, when is a good time for you? Or can I add you now? No pressure, get in there whenever you can. And if I say, get in there, whenever you can, but I've already added you, I will tell my customer, hey, Sam's working. She's in the group chat and she will get back to us like whenever she is available. It should be around this time, just to give them a heads up. So my customer isn't like, okay, well, she added Sam to the group chat, but now Sam isn't responding. So, if they didn't know, hey, Sam's at work, they're going to be like, oh, well, she added this girl to the group chat and now she's, you know, MIA. So that's
Yes.
important.
That is so important because I personally, and you know, because we're doing this training, I love group chats, but I really, really hate if I'm too busy to get into the group chat and I can't reply because that customer deserves my attention. So if I don't have that heads up and I don't know what's going on, or if you just throw me in a chat and you're like starting the group chat and you didn't ask me if I was available, or you didn't give me a heads up about what the topic even is, I don't know if your person is wanting to be a customer or a promoter, if they're already thriving, if they're detoxing, like, whoa, all the information, it could be anything. So I really, really, really appreciate that. And that is something you guys should all use. Just as much as your customer doesn't want to be blindsided by anything, neither does your leader. Like, we need to know, hey, I'm going to put you in this group chat. Are you free? And can you answer these questions? Because there have been times where Kristen has asked me, hey, I have somebody who needs this. Can you get in a group chat? And I tell her, absolutely. But can we also add Tammy? Because this is a Tammy question. She's smart when it comes to the scientific side. I can talk to you about detox a little bit, but if it comes to a specific question about the ingredients in the product, I'm not your girl. Like, yeah, Tammy is great at that. And I'm not ashamed to say that. And if I know that I can't answer it and I know that Tammy can't answer it, I know that I can help you find somebody that can help your person. So before you even create the group chat, you've got to get your leader on board and ready to help you. And then I'll let you talk about the customer side. So what you interpreted the question to be.
Yes, I thought that she was talking about, do I let my customers or potential customers know before I add them to the group chat? And so everybody's different and everybody is going to have their own way to do things. And I know Sam does it a different way than I do, and that's fine. But the way I found that I feel comfortable with is if I ask my customer before I put them in the group chat, hey, you know, is it okay if I add you into a group chat with my friend Samantha? She's also my neighbor. She's been thriving for years. She is going to be a wealth of knowledge, and she actually has something in common with you. You know, she's a mom of 2 also, and do you mind if I add her into the group chat? Because I just feel like for myself, that's what I'm comfortable with, and I feel like I'm being more courteous if I ask them. I just know, like, if it were me and I was talking to somebody else about a product that they were selling or they, you know, wanted to share with me, and all of a sudden, like, I was talking to them and all of a sudden there were like, you know, another person or 2 more people that I had no idea who they were. For me, I would feel like a little taken back by that and like, I don't know, just like uncomfortable, awkward, like I don't know these people, you know, so just like kind of that just asking and then introducing, telling them who you're going to add them into a group chat with. You know what I mean? That's just what works for me.
You know what? I want you to say that again. I want you to say so that people can write it down. Like, because you're so confident in it. Like, some people are so hesitant and scared to say or ask, can I put you in a group chat? They're very like insecure about it. So just say one more time, like what you would say to your potential customer to get them, like, how do you get every single person to say, yeah, I would love that?
Yeah, so I just ask them, you know, we're having our conversation and maybe they ask me a question about ingredients. I would say to them, hey, you know what, this is a great question. I have a friend, she's also my upline. Her name is Tammy. She knows so much about ingredients, and I think that she would really help us answer these questions. I don't want to give you any wrong information, and I know that she's going to give you the correct information. Right, so just asking them before you just throw them in, because it's awkward to talk to strangers.
Awesome.
Most customers know you, they don't know the other person that you're adding to the group chat. So it's just, for me, it just, in my eyes, it makes everybody feel more comfortable.
Yep. So you've done the work before you even started the group chat. You gave your leader the heads up. You gave your customer the heads up. So when you start the chat and you introduce, you say, hey, Jackie, this is my friend Sam I was telling you about. Sam, this is my friend Jackie. I know I gave you a little bit of information. I just wanted to connect you to. And then from there, that's when I hop in and say, hey, Jackie, I heard a little bit about it. Why don't you tell me how you've been taking your Thrive? Or I start asking the customer questions because I have a background and she knows I'm here to help. So do you do all the talking, or do you let your customer explain for themselves? Like, how do you go about continuing the conversation from there?
Right. So it's really easy to get into a group chat and kind of just like regurgitate all the information that your customer has already given you. Because you're like, oh, I already know the answer to all these questions Sam is asking. And so let me just like type it out or use a voice chat and be like, oh, she's been taking her 3 steps like this in the morning. She's doing it all correctly. Well, your customer may be in the process of responding at the same time. And then they're like, okay, let me stop. Kristen's already like answering everything for me. So really, why am I even here? If it's just a conversation between her friend and Kristen. So really like I feel like it's really empowering to let them be the one that starts talking. I mean, you can get in there and do introductions and stuff. But like, I mean, when Sam and I are doing a group chat, I'll do the introduction and then I'll let Sam ask the next question. We kind of know like the order of events that things are going to occur because we do it so often. And then I'll just let my customer answer for themselves. And then, I mean, there might be times when I, will say like, oh yeah, don't forget, you told me this or whatever. That's an important piece of information that they may have left out because they've already told me once. And they might actually tell you more information in the group chat that you didn't know about either. So that's really important too.
Yeah, and that's a good thing to kind of touch on because your friends might tell you stuff, but they might think that because you're so close, you already know specific things about them that you might not actually know. But when you have a stranger in there, then they're like, oh, but I take this one medication, blah, 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 for this and this. And then you're like, the person, like you would be like, I had no idea they had that. Or, because they're so comfortable with you, they just assume you kind of already know everything. So when you have that stranger in there, it just really helps let them talk. But you're exactly right. If you're talking for them, you're like talking about them in front of them instead of letting them be a part of it.
Our group chat that we did the other day with my friend Jackie, she had given me information about herself that may, be private. So it was about hormones. She had her hormones tested and stuff. So in that group chat, I went back to a one-on-one as we were doing the group chat and I said, hey, I didn't want to air your information on there. Like, are you comfortable sharing that you just had your hormones tested and that kind of stuff? So if it's something like a touchy subject that you don't want to just like air all of their business on a group chat, which is another really important reason why you want your customer to do the talking, most of the talking instead of you, because, they might not feel comfortable telling a stranger private information about themselves.
Yeah, and you guys have to remember, like, this is so, but like in the grand scheme of things, this is so much more than just a product. These people are not going to Walmart and buying Thrive off the shelf for a reason. They get the product, but they also get a person. This whole team, that's exactly what we are. Like, we want to help you. We want to make sure everybody feels their best. And if we don't use the group chats for that third-party validation, we're not giving them their best experience. Even if for me, it's easier for me to ask Tammy to get on and answer things like, I don't even really necessarily ever answer things unless it's like a detox thing, but I still add her. I'll say, hey, Tammy, this is my friend so-and-so. She's waiting on her Thrive to come in. I'm really excited for her. I just really thought that she would love to hear your story before her Thrive comes and let her know what Thrive has done for you. And that's it for the group chat. Tammy will hop in, tell her story, and then the person will get to hear it, and then they will be even more excited about their Thrive. Whether it's a question you're answering or just getting them excited about Thrive, you have to connect these people one-on-one. It's great to add them to a big giant group on Facebook where there's thousands of people all talking about their Thrive. But when you have a private conversation with them, they just have a more personal, like intimate experience with their Thrive instead of this big giant group thing that they're just kind of thrown into. So that's why we love this, because we need to help them with their experience one-on-one. So I am going to ask you the last question that I have here, and then if anybody has questions or we haven't answered anything, or if there's anything you're feeling insecure about or you want answered again or more in-depth answers on, please put it in the chat, because we do have a little more time. We have like 10 more minutes here. So I'm gonna ask her one more question and then I will hand it over for questions. So the last one is, have your customers ever been upset or offended by being in a group chat?
So I have never once had anybody tell me no, that they didn't want me to put them in a group chat. They just haven't. I think I go back to like asking them first. And I think that's part of the reason why none of my customers have ever been upset by being, I had the courtesy to ask them first. I'm not springing it on them. I'm not surprising them with it. I'm explaining why I want to put them in a group chat first. And so I've never had anybody be upset or offended that I told them, hey, I don't know the right information to give you. Let's get somebody else in here, because 2 heads, 3 heads are better than 1. And you or Tammy, whoever does the group chat, might think of something that I would have never thought about. And even you've been thriving for how many years? 5 years. And you still will admit that you don't know everything there is to know, specifically like ingredient questions or whatever. So we always add Tammy in there too, because she's great at that. So everybody kind of has their niche. So my customers seem to love being in a group chat. I've only had one really who like wants to be in a group chat, but then she's kind of MIA and she doesn't really like respond that much, which is fine, whatever. Sometimes she'll respond to me privately, but I don't think that she was ever like offended that we were in a group chat. So what?
Right, and she can go back and listen to that, all the time too. Hi, Lily. Are you excited for school to start?
Yes.
I wanted to talk a little bit more to have you talk about something that I just got distracted from Lily. I love it. You talked about it just a little bit, and I think that it was in your notes, and I kind of was like, oh, let's definitely talk about that too. Let me see. I'm so happy you sent me your notes. That was like the best thing ever. You guys, into the notes. Look at her notes. Okay, she is
anal about this because I am somebody who like trips on my words, and I'm a much better writer than I am a speaker. So I need to have like my thoughts mapped out so I don't like stumble all over myself. When I do like my Facebook lives in the morning and stuff, I just go with the flow. I don't have a script for that. It's just whatever comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth. So.
Oh, you put in the bottom of your thing the power of voice clips in your group chat. So why do you use the voice clips over just texting it all? Like, what do you think is important about that?
I feel like that is so important, and it's so much easier too. So, I can do it from anywhere. I can be walking around the house and, going about my business and still like my phone in my hand and recording a voice clip for them. So it's convenient. Also, they hear your voice. So they can hear, the inflection in your voice. They can hear the excitement. They're not just reading words on their phone or their computer. They're connecting with you on a different level. So, some of my customers are like my best friends that I had in middle school or high school. And so they will always say to me like, oh my gosh, I loved hearing your voice. I haven't heard your voice in so long. So it's just that like personal connection that you have with them. The only times that I won't do voice chats is if I know that my customer they've said to me like, oh, I got to run it by my husband, or I haven't like said anything to my husband yet, or I know it's like late at night and they're probably laying in bed on their phone. They're not going to want to play that. I've had customers before say, my husband's sitting right next to me right now, so I'll play it later when I have a chance. So I want them to be able to, connect anytime. So I'm like, that's fine. I'll just type out what I said in my voice chat, in my voice chat. And I've had people say to me, thank you so much for using a voice chat. It was like really easy and I didn't have to read a whole bunch of words. So.
Yeah, and I think it keeps it more personal and way less salesy when you're like asking someone a question like, okay, walk me through a normal day. Like, how are you taking your Thrive? If you read that, it could come off as like offensive. Like, okay, well, how are you taking your Thrive? If you're speaking it and they could hear your voice and you're saying, okay, just walk me through your normal day. Let me know, like, what time do you wake up? What's your normal routine? And they hear that, it comes across so much nicer than just words.
Right.
But also too, like something
with voice chats, be careful not to do voice chat after voice chat after voice chat after voice chat, because I've had conversations with people who have done that and I'm like, oh my gosh, another one. Like, I'm kind of tired of listening. So if you have like a whole lot to say and you find yourself like, there's tons of voice chats one at the other, put some words in there in the middle just to break it up, because it does get like, oh my gosh, another one I have to listen to. So.
Yes, and that is so important too when you're asking your leader to come in and do some talking, because there have been times where I've been added to group chats. I wasn't asked if I was available, so they already start talking. And then I have to go catch up. And then there's 15 minutes of voice clips. Like, that is so time consuming when you're going back and forth. So do use the voice clips, but please try to summarize what you're saying. And the best way to do that is to let your customer do the talking. If it's the customer doing all these voice clips, fantastic. Good. Like, we want them to talk as much as possible, but as leaders, we essentially need to say as little as possible, as quickly as possible. So don't just be like in the middle of a voice clip and then, oh, hold on, let me ask my child something while they're like, no, just get to the point, leave your voice clip and click off of it. And that way it's short and simple for whoever has to listen to it.
Yes, for sure. I like that Natasha said, she said, I feel like a voice clip when I first started in the group made me feel appreciated by Tammy and Lacey. So it's probably the same for customers. So that's so true. You do feel appreciated, and that way they know it's not like a copy and pasted message. Hey girl, let me tell you about Thrive.
Yes, absolutely. It keeps it personal, just like how I was saying, like, it means more when you're hearing it than when you can tell we actually care, because we really do. Like, we really are trying to help these people. We're not trying to be copy paste, hey girl kind of people. I actually sometimes do say, hey girl, like that is actually.
But you get my point.
Yes, but there are companies that have that as their copy paste message. So when you can hear somebody say, hey girl, you can tell if it's in their personality to actually say that, or if it's uncomfortable for them to say that, and you just want to keep it as real as possible. Yeah. So who has questions? Like, does anybody have a question? I'm going to put this on gallery view in case anybody wants to say this or that. Or have you ever had an experience that maybe didn't turn out the best and you want to know like what you could have done different? Like, if there's, a question that you have about the way that you handled it. Yes, Lacey is the hey girl. She does do hey girl, and that's okay if that's in your personality. Like, people know you and they know if that's your personality. So that's totally fine. I know it's super late in Ohio, and I appreciate you guys hopping on here, or Pennsylvania, wherever you are. If you are Eastern time, I appreciate you getting on this late. For Kristen and I, it's only 7:30. So for us, this is like great for us to get to do this at this hour, because when you guys do amazing Zooms and calls at 7:30, 8:30 at night, your time, it's like 4:30 here, and it's so hard to like break away, like when it's like time to get ready for dinner or whatever you're doing. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to hop on. I don't see any questions. I don't know if there's anybody who has anything specific that they want to ask. I did record this, so if you think there's anything on here that your team could learn from, by all means, share the recording. I'll make sure I share it everywhere that it was posted in the comment section, so you guys will have it. But do you have anything else you want to say, Kristen? Well, I just want to, in case anybody's typing something, I don't want to just cut them off while we're sitting here waiting. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. I think I've covered everything.
Yeah.
But I do love group chats because they're fun.
Yeah, I love, my favorite is that you covered how you ask your people if they want or if they're comfortable with it, because I personally don't. And now I'm thinking maybe I should, because I do understand the feeling of being just thrown into something. I know that if I can just start the group chat and get people in it, I know that Tammy is so amazing that they're going to love whatever she has to say. So they'll get over that as soon as they listen to her voice. Because I know how beneficial they are, but I do think it is important to also ask them. And I do think a lot of it has to do with just knowing their personality too.
Yeah,
and like how,
for sure. And that's why, I mean, maybe I will try, you know, mentioning group chats. That one person that I told you about who's just very private. She's very negative about everything, which she like really needs thrive.
Right.
So, and she's really interested in it, but I don't know. I'm just like holding back doing the group chat thing because I feel like it would definitely like overwhelm her and maybe scare her away. But maybe I'm completely wrong. So
well,
maybe
you just wait until she asks you a question that you really don't know, that you would just be like, you know what, that is a really great question. You know,
right. Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. She's kind of like, she has her list of ingredients and stuff, and she's waiting to take that to her doctor. So, because she takes a lot of medication, she has a lot of health issues. So she wants to get the okay from her doctor first. So,
Awesome. Well, if you need me, I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you for doing this, you guys. I asked Kristen to do this because she is bomb at it. So whatever she's doing is working. Like I said, she is flawless at creating them. I don't know what I did to deserve her, but she is fantastic. And, you know, you heard her at the beginning. She thought we were telling her to do group chats because we thought that she couldn't do it on her own. And that's not it at all. We just want everyone to have the best experience. And, you know, this is my job. I want to do my job. And I know all of you guys want to do your jobs too. So I know if you had a leader that asked you to be in a group chat, you would be more than excited to help them out. So just remember, like, this is how we train our people. This is how we train our customers to say, hey, can we have a group chat with this person? So once you do it, just break the ice. You'll be so much more comfortable with it. It'll get easier and easier, and you will be like, oh my gosh, I gotta get this person in a group chat. So we love the group chats. I love you guys. Thank you guys for hopping on and taking the time to listen to this. I hope we gave you some information that can help you grow. I'm gonna stop the recording and try to figure out how to post it and save it and upload it and all the good things. So thank you guys for being here, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.